Hello, everyone, and welcome to SAS Programming Master Classes. So, today the concept name is Import and Export in SAS. So, what is meant by import and what is exactly the export? Import means importing a external files into SAS environment. Okay, it can be a Excel file, it can be a text file, it can be a CSV file, it can be a tab file, and all these files we can import it. It's the same way from SAS to outside we can do the export also. Okay, we can do exporting of your data, like imagine you have created a data set called some tester. You want to export that particular data from SAS to outside in the form of Excel, in the form of a text, in the form of a CSV, or in the form of any different file, we can able to export also. So today's concept name is mainly for importing and exporting of your what I can say that the data. So here the agenda. Hello all. As you already know that I'm Naidu. I'm a SaaS trainer and programmer with 15 years of domain experience. And let me just go to the next slide. So here the agenda, as I already covered. So what is data import and export? I'm going to cover about it. Then how to import Excel files, text files, CSV files, and tab files in SAS. We'll try to see about that. Then how to export also Excel files, text files, CSV files, and tab files. So we'll do all those files importation, we'll do all those files exportation also, we'll try to see. And then we will see about it how to import and export multiple files in one go. Okay, even that is also we'll try to see. Then followed by the task, and then followed by the question and answers. So this is an agenda for today's class, everything about import and export in this particular SAS programming masterclass of today we are going to learn. So for this, what I'll do is let me just go to desktop. Imagine, so I have opened my file. Actually, importing means I'll try to tell about something here. Um, I have a data with me on my desktop at somewhere. You can consider. In this case, let me just go for SAS tutorial. Day 3 import export, but the data where I have shared. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll try to give you the data first to you. I'll keep the data for your reference. So now you want to import it. So go to your any one folder of mine of old classes. There are many folders on my desktop. Student backup. So now go to SAS tutorial. Do you have a folder name called data? So do you have day 3 data is not there? Huh? That's okay. Let me give it tasks also. Do you have any data? Okay, it is there. Let me just back up. Randomly open any file. Go to SAS tutorial. Day 6 and 7 is what? Global options. Day 10 is what? Data. Okay. Now I'll try to keep this particular data for your reference. Okay. So now I will explain about how to import and all. You can download this data from your backup. I'll just keep it in your backup right now. 92. And I'll go to my tasks folder. I'll try to keep this particular data folder here for your reference. I have a data with me. So there are n number of data sets available here. So I'll remove the unnecessary one. Okay. So here is a data with me. You just zoom it better so that you can just see what type of data values we have it here. One is Excel file. You just see my data is an Excel file. We have it. You try to open it. So there we have an Excel sheet containing a data. Okay, you just see right now. So this is my Excel data which is there with plenty of records containing a data which is there. and how we can import it. Same way, we have another format called XLSX also. There also we have a plenty of records containing a data which is there. So we have a Excel files. Excel file, see this particular file and both files are look same. Go to properties. This is .xls format containing file. But when I coming to here, right click on it and go to properties. There you can see it's also XLS, and we have it. Another one is called XLSX. You can just see this one. Go to properties of this one. So here, properties there. It's an XLSX. So XLS file, XLSX file, how we can able to import it, we'll try to see. And apart from that, comma separated values, you just see if the data having a commas in the middle, 12 comma, 34 comma, something like that, if the data available in the form of a text file, how to import it. And we are coming to see this one. This is your tab separated file. One particular column to another column, there are tab spaces in the middle. So if you want to import it, what are the strategies you will use it to import it? I will explain about that. And apart from that, so you can just see even a single space containing a data also I want to import it. How we can import it, we'll try to see in today's class. So this is about different files what I have it right now. Let me try writing one code to import all this particular external data into SAS environment. For that, what I will do is go to my SAS. I'll try start writing my program. So I'm trying to write a program here for importing of your Excel files. For that, I'll try to write it. Import. I can't write directly write import. You need to write procedure method that is called proc. Means it's a procedure. Import. You are telling us as to import it. Data file equal to. You need to mention the path of that file where it is located. As I know, my path is already there in this particular backup. I'll go to this particular folder. I'll just mention it. The folder is my drive backup student backup 92 and tasks and data is the folder. And then which file you want to import it, make sure to right click on that particular file. So imagine I want to import this particular my data one file, right click on it and go to properties and go to security. But here you won't see that security tab at all because it's already been secured in this particular Google Drive. What I suggest you is you try taking a copy of this particular data folder, paste it into your desktop at somewhere. Let's see what happens. So let me just cancel this one. Let me bring the data to your desktop. So the data folder, which is here, you also do the same. Once you're done with it, you download that particular file and the data folder is somewhere. It's already there. Okay. So here, which is already there in my desktop, you see. So this is the file which is there. And now I'm interested to import a my data file. So my data one is the file I'm trying to my data one is the file I want to import it. There we have a plenty of records containing a data. So what I will do is I'll right click on it. I'll go to properties and then I'll go to security. You can see that now the security tab. Why we need to copy the value from the security is because you will get the path completely until .xls also. You will get it. That's the reason why we need to write it. You need to copy that path also. So we need to tell that to SAS by just mentioning it. Proc import data file equal to, you need to mention the path of that file where it is located. Yes, I'm done. Then once that particular data is imported into SAS environment, you need to mention the data set name out equal to the new data set name. I'm trying to mentioning it as a test semicolon. Okay, you don't write semicolon here. Then you need to tell that DBMS equal to, that means database management system equal to, as it's an XLS file, I'll try to mention it as XLS semicolon and run. That's it. I'm done with my code. I don't need to write much lines of code because just for importing, I'm trying to do here. Proc means it's a procedure. Import data file equal to path of that file where it is located. Out equal to test and DBMS equal to XLS and run. I try to import the data from that particular source. And once that source containing data imported into SAS, I'm storing my data set into a test. So by default, if I'm not writing any library name, it will default store in work library. If you want it, I can mention my library name as a SAS, SAS user dot test also. I can write it if I want it. For time being, I don't want to save it any other library. let it be as default library of work only. Now go to libraries location. So let me try running this code. What happens, we'll see. Yes, I have done that. Check your log. Log is saying import has 120 observations and 7 variables containing data with the name of test created in the work library. Go to work library and try to open it. The test data set is created. You open this one so that that particular data, whatever you see on that Excel, it's imported nicely. And there you have all the 120 records containing a data, it's imported. Yeah, everything is very clean and neat. Go there and try to compare this particular data with this particular my data one and try to open this one. Okay, so here you see that we have a records, all the 120 records, but unfortunately we have a 121 records in the output right now. Sorry, in this particular Excel we have a 121 records, but what we imported is only 120. But why that one record is got imported extra, sorry, less, we'll try to see that one also. Understand? So first of all, it's importing default only first sheet information only get imported, because you see this right now when I import it only first sheet information, because you see I have a UU sheet, AFMSJ sheet, ASS or CMGR sheet, BMT sheet, class sheet and all. We do have a plenty other sheets. It's not going to be imported by default. Default SAS can import only the first sheet containing a data, it's imported. Okay, another question is I have a 121 records in this particular program, but why I'm getting 120 only? The reason is, if you see the first row of mine as my column names like F code, airport, T date, child, adult, ECAR, FCAR is my column names. So default, these column names will not be considered as a row. So in SAS, the first row it automatically take that as a column name. Even though you have 121 records in Excel, finally you will get it 120 because the first record will be considered as a default column name. That's the reason why you are getting that. Okay, that's not an issue. I want to rerun the same program one more time. Let me just try to do a small mistake here. What my interest is, I don't want to do anything. I want to rerun the same program again. When I try to run it again, automatically it will throw a message saying it import cancelled output data set test is already exists. Specify the replace option to overwrite it. What is this means? The data set of mine, which is already there with the name of test, is already present. So you can't overwrite the new data set with the same name. So that's the reason why it is showing this particular import cancel. That means second time run when I'm try to run it, it is not working. So you need to make sure to replace the existing data set with the writing some options. By default, it won't replace it. Data set options, when you're writing my data set name, just imagine data, your data set name test, I'm trying to write it. Input statement. So within an input statement, if I'm writing X is one variable, just imagine X value. Card statement, when I try to write it, okay, then if I'm writing X value 10, just imagine, and then followed by semicolon and run, so that my data set is created with the name of tester. So that what happened, one data set is created. I want to create another data set name also. So here, just imagine, I want to create it another data set name called Y. Just imagine this. This is also tester. If I try to give the same names, what happened? It automatically overrides old one with new one. If you see the test data set of my old one is gone and new one is created Y with 10. Earlier X with 10 will be created. That will be overwritten with Y with 10 by default. It won't ask. When I'm using a data step method, a data onwards up to run step, when we are writing it, default it have a overwriting capability. It overwrites like that. But right now we are using procedure method. Procedure doesn't have overwriting capability. That's the reason why SAS is struggling. If the data set is already there, suppose imagine test with Y is the value we have it right now. When I try to rerun the same program again, it will throw an error saying it import cancelled output dataset work.test is already exist. No matter the inside of your values, is it the same value, different value? No, SAS not worried about that. The only worry for SAS is test is the name is already used for some other purpose. I can't overwrite it. That's what SAS is trying to tell you. So now they are clearly mentioning it. Output dataset work.test is already exist. Specify the replace option to overwrite it. Okay, so then how I can override the even the old one? I can tell to mention SAS after the XLS, write an option called replace. Okay, I'm trying to write it as a replace is the option I'm trying to write it. When you execute it and run it, it is trying to overwrite it. So now if you just see that, it replacing it. F code, airport, T date, child, adult, e car, and F car, and all the variables. So it is just overwriting it. Yeah, that's possible, and we are doing it right now. So we have it, all the values are overwriting. Now you can see, so F code, airport, T date, and T date, child, and child, adult, e car, and F car, and all the variables wise. So the data old one is just imported, and now the old data is gone and new data is created here. So that means writing an option called replace, it automatically replaces the old one. And one more mistake what we try to do is, let's say, if, let me close this unnecessary PowerPoint. Okay, so imagine my Excel file is already in an open condition while importing it. Let's see what happens when I try to open this Excel, and let's keep that particular Excel file in open condition. When I try to run the same program again, so yeah, now you go there and check it. You see that, you see this message in your in your error that so file is in use. That means this particular Excel file is in use. Make sure when you are importing any file into SAS, you need to close that Excel file, and then only we can just rerun it. So then the file will be get imported. Okay, so you need to keep that also. As you mention it here, so there are multiple sheets we have it in the SAS. Only first sheet only it is getting imported every time. Instead of that, you are interested to get the data from the second sheet. So let me just go to this particular Excel and my data one file. If I try to open it, I have another data called UU. Yeah, I'll try to import this particular data. Yeah, I can tell to my SAS import from the UU sheet, but make sure while I'm just importing it, so here I don't have any column names for it. You see that basically I have just a data. But what is the difference between first sheet and second sheet? First sheet we have a nice column names as F code, airport, T date, child, adult, e car. F car is like a columns. But when coming to the UU sheet, doesn't have any column names at all. Understand? So now when I try to import this particular second sheet containing a data to be imported, what happens? We'll try to say. For that, what we do is, let me just take this example. What is the name of the sheet? UUU, two, three U's in your data. That's my sheet name. I'll try telling my SAS to import it. So I'll just use the same program, but this time I'll try to mention it as a sheet equal to, I can mention which sheet you want to import it. As you know that the sheet name is UUU is the sheet I'm trying to import into SAS. Let it be, it's not an issue. When I try to import it and run it, yeah, I think it's imported successfully. Check your log without any errors. It's imported, but something it's clearly saying. See, earlier when it's imported, only three note messages and everything is nice. But right now, when I'm trying to import it, there is one more note message extra. I got it. It is saying it. The variable name changed to RS 3328 as a var6 variable. It is created. Let's see what is this SAS is trying to talk about it. Let me just find out. Open the data set. As you know that we don't have any first rows or my column names in this data set. SAS automatically taking first row as a column name. What is my first row? Actually, IES 610 CDG. And see, one more issue is here. Actually, SAS need to take this data as it is. Okay, if you double click on it, actually this date need to be pick up automatically. But here, according to the rules, we can't create any variable name with starting with numbers and all, right? It is start with a date, so it won't allow me to create any new variable with that. So that's the reason why SAS automatically taking that as a C. How come it is C? SAS will consider this as a column, this is your B column, and this is your C column. So then followed by the D column, because it's a numbers. Again, E column, it is also numbers. Yes, this is text, but this text we have a dots and spaces in the middle. You can't write that as a column name. SAS default, it is converted into a var6 by default. So it is trying to give me the label as a that 3328 and all. You will get that as a value as a label. But what happens, actually speaking, I don't have any variable names. First row automatically it is taking as a data set name. Sorry, variable names. That's the reason why the total confusion came into picture. Now we need to tell that SAS don't take a first row as a column name. Okay, you take the data from the second sheet, I agree, but don't take the first row as a column name then. So what I can do in this case, I'll try to tell that get names equal to no. I'll try to mention it. Get names equal to, when I specify it as a no, Get names, I need to write it. Get names equal to no when I write it. So SAS default, it automatically take a first row as a column name. Hello, can you hear me, everyone? Hello, everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
now we
Now,
can hear you. Before we
Now,
couldn't hear.
yes, it was frozen for a little bit.
I can see that my internet is just got freezed for a minute. Okay, where you stopped?
Get names is equal
Get
to
names
no.
equal to no. Okay. Okay. So default first row, it is taking it as a column names by default in SAS. If you don't want that first row as a column name, then we can mention it. Get names equal to no. When you do this, so automatically SAS won't take first row as a column name. Then in that case, what SAS will try to take it then? SAS default, it is trying to take the column names as a B, C, D, E, F and all. It will try to take it. So how many rows we have in that Excel, and those many rows you will get it here also. Try to open that Excel right now. Go to my data one. How many rows we have it in the UU sheet? Starting from one onwards, how many rows we have it? 107 rows we have it. Even that 107 rows as it is imported. But what here we have done is SAS is trying to give the column names as A, B, C, D, E, F, and all the column names. You got it according to the requirement. So automatically SAS takes that as a column names from that particular variables instead of that particular columns as a rows. We have it. I don't want that first row as a column name. You can use a statement called get names equal to no. Not only that, by just using sometimes, if you want to pick up from this particular sheet, instead of just writing a sheet, what I can do is I can tell to my SAS range also. What is this range means? What it will try to do? I want it. Sometimes what happens, the requirement is, let me try to open the same sheet. From the first sheet, what I want it, first sheet or maybe second sheet, I want it from the A1 to D somewhere 10. Okay, this particular piece of data only I want to import it. I don't need to import the total data from A column. Okay, first value to D column until 10th row. I want it only the selected piece of information only. You want to import it. Even that is also possible. We can do that. So what you need to mention is range equal to, you need to mention it in a quotations. Okay, sheet, which sheet you are interested to import it from the UU sheet. You need to mention with a dollar sign from A1 to until D10. You need to mention it and give the semicolon. So this is the use of a statement called range. From this particular sheet, A1 to D10 is required. I try to import it. Check your log. I think successfully imported. Now you can see I'm getting it. Even first row is taking as a column names. I don't want to take that as a column name. So you can tell that to SAS by just mentioning get names equal to no when you write it. So that what happened? It is allowing me. Now you are done. So now you see that you got A, B, C, D is the columns from A1 to D10 only. Only that piece of information you are interested to import it. Even that is also possible. We can do with this one. Yeah, nice and clean. So we can do that. Possible. Okay, so we can create a importing of only piece of information from a specific sheet. I can do that by just using this particular method. And we're coming to here, the next one what I can do is, okay, let me just try to write it here. Let me save this code to you in your folder. Go to save as, save to your desktop, and go to your student backup 92. So as tutorial, I'm just saving this code as day 3. Import and export in SAS. I'll try to save this. Okay, done. So we try to what I can say that importing from a specific range of the data, if you want it, you can do. And not only that, you are interested to import sometimes only, you just again take it the example. So I need the data from the first sheet. From the 10th row onwards, I want it. Remaining all the rows, I don't want it. All these rows and columns, I don't want it. I need it from the 10th row onwards. That means take the first row as a column name, plus starting from the 10th row, I want it to until 9. This particular range of the data, I don't want it. That's what my interest is. That time also we can skip that. How I can tell to my SAS? You just mention the same, try to copy, then instead of writing a range, you try to mention it data row. You mention it data row equal to, you try to mention it as which record, which row onwards you want to pick up the data. 10th record onwards I want to pick up. So I have my column names default, it's already there in my data. So I'm trying to run it. Let me close my Excel before I run it. I'm trying to import it. I think I'm done. Check your log. Successfully imported. Earlier 120 observations containing a data used to get it, but now you got it. So from the 10th record, is it 10th record is 11730 of my FCAR. Is it correct or not? I want to check it. Go to my data one, my 10th record of mine. So this is my 10th record data. What is my 10th record data? So that is your IA 610 CDG and as well as 11730 containing a data. From 10th record onwards until the rest you will get it. How many records it is? 112 records containing a data. It's imported. You see that the count, the total 112 records are imported into SAS. Plus extra you will get it the column names default. The default column names is already there. It will pick that also. So column names plus this one, total 112 records containing a data, we can import it. Not only that, while you are importing it, your interest is not to import all the columns from there. I want to import only specific columns. Imagine I'm interested F code, airport, T date, only these 2-3 variables only to keep it in my new data set. Then you can control it that also by just mentioning a statement here after immediately data set name. You try to mention it, keep equal to, you just mention what variables you want to keep it. So the variable names, which I don't know, let me double click on this one so that I can copy. F code is one variable is required. I'll try to mention that. Keeping of F code is required, then followed by, I'll try to mention airport is another variable is required for me. I'll try to write it. Even that is also possible. I can mention that. Then randomly another variable I'll pick up from anything. Adult is another variable which is there with me. Only these 3 variables are required for my analysis. I don't need the rest of the variables. Then in this particular statement of what I can say that by using dataset name test, within the test you can keep what variables only required. Let me try re-importing again. When you run it, I think I'm done. While it's importing, so all the 7 variables will be get imported, but finally you open the data set, will have only the columns what you specified, only you will get it. Understand? By using this particular keep statement, it will keep only the required variables. Apart from that, what you can do is while you are importing it, you are interested to drop these variables, remaining all the variables are required, then I can mention it drop. So what I'm trying to do is proc import data file equal to path of that file, out equal to test, and drop of this particular 3 variables, and let's have rest of the variables, how many in your columns. I want it all but except 3. So even that is also possible, you can do. So I'm just trying to write it a statement called drop. Even there also you can see except the 3 variables what you specified, rest all the data which is there with me. I can use a statement called keep or drop. So that's my wish. I can do that importing of my data. Okay, so you can use either of these methods. Yeah, definitely it is possible. So we can try to write it. And we're coming to the next one. I'm trying to write it here. Okay. Here, every time what I try to do, I try to import the data from XLS file. Instead of importing the data from XLS file, what I can do is, we have another file which is there with me as XLSX format of file. Go to properties, and there we have an XLSX. Both also Excel file. Why the difference is, when earlier when you are using 97 2003 format of your MS Office, then you used to get this particular format of XLS files. But latest MS Office Excel, when you try to open it or maybe try to save it, by default it will be get saved in the form of XLSX. Try to open this particular XLSX also. There also same data I have it, so that I want to import it. So what I can tell to my SAS is, do the same job what you have done here. Now you are interested to import the same data, but this time it is not XLS. There also my sheet name is, my Excel workbook name is my data one. I want to import the data as XLSX. Even here also you need to write it. Even DBMS also you need to write it. So this way it will allow me to import the data with XLSX format and write it. I think I'm done. Check my log. Nicely imported. Go to your data. So now it is just importing. So that means even XLSX file containing a data also you are interested, you can import it by just using this particular method. So this is all about importing of Excel files we have seen in this particular, what I can say that a class here. So up to here, importing of Excel file. Anyone have any questions? I'll just take it here.
So can you please explain about the DBMS? Why we need that? What is that?
DBMS means database management system. We need to tell that to SAS which data you are importing. Is it XLS data or XLSX data, or is it a CSV data? Is it a DLM data? So like that, we need to tell that to SAS which type of file you are importing it. Got it? If it is an Excel file, you will write a DBMS equal to XLS. Let me just explain the remaining files. You will see the difference where the DBMS will change. Right now, both are also similar, like XLS, even here also XLS, here also XLSX, here also XLSX. You may think that both also same, not always same. Let me try to write it at the down program so that you will see a difference. DBMS means database management system.
Okay.
Now, let me try to import the data from CSV, comma separated value file. How to import it? Let me try to write my code. So again, I'll try to write it. Proc means it's a procedure. Import, I'm telling my SAS to import data file equal to, you need to make sure that particular comma separated value file where it is located. As you already know that I have a data with the text file with the comma separated value. That means why I'm saying it's a comma separated 12 comma 34 comma AAA 14 comma 56 comma BBB and all. So because it's a comma separated value, now my interest is to import this type of file into SAS environment. So I'll right click on this one and go to properties and go to security and need to copy the path of that location. So this is the path I'm trying to copy. Go to your SAS. You need to make sure to write in a quotation. It can be a single or double quotations, your wish, and you need to make sure to mention the path of that file. Then followed by out equal to the new dataset name. I'm trying to write it. Most of the students of mine who do the mistakes writing a semicolon itself and then you're trying to write out statement here. No, it's all comes under one statement only. If you see, starting onwards, proc import onwards until semicolon, all is comes under one statement only. If you are swapping these particular positions, data file to next and out equal to top, that's your wish. You can swap the positions because this is all comes under one statement until the semicolon. So now you need to make sure to write it out equal to new data set name test. And if it is already exists with the same name, try to write it an option called replace. Replace. I'll try to write it. Then this time I'll try to write it DBMS. I'll try to write it as it is in a text format of file, because actually my file is nothing but a text file only. But my inside the data is comma separated value. You need to mention that DBMS equal to CSV. You need to write it. It's a comma separated value, semicolon, and run. That's it. I try importing it. When I try to import it now, execute it, I think I'm done. New data created and it's successfully imported. Why my first row is taking as a column names? Because in this particular data, I don't have any column names. That's the reason why first row it is automatically picking as a column name. When you don't want that first row as a column name, you need to tell to the SAS, don't take first row as a column name by just mentioning a statement called get names equal to no. I'll try to mention it. This will allow me not to take first row as a column name. That's it. Now you just see that, so that you got a var1, var2, var3. Naidu, what is the difference? Earlier, when you given a option of get names equal to no, there we have seen like A, B, C, D. But when we are doing it from the CSV file, we are getting it something called var1, var2, var3. What is the difference? The thing is that's the default Excel files. Whenever you open any Excel file, you try to see here, open a random Excel file. When you create it, the column names default, we will have it as a B, C, D, F, G, H and all. SAS is automatically picking up this particular information by default. When it is a comma separated value default, SAS is automatically taking as a var1, var2, var3. So that's the reason why. So this particular files, you are just getting it as a var1, var2, var3 and all that data you are getting it. So not only that, we have this particular comma separated value file available in the form of this one also. You just see, you just bit zoom it. So now you can see this particular data also a with comma. That means it's a comma separated file. So what is the difference between this particular data and this one? This is stored in the form of .txt file, but this particular information is saved in the form of .csv. You want to see the difference? Go to properties and go to security, and then you see the path. It's a .csv. Earlier text, but now it is a comma separated. But when I try to open it, it looks like an Excel, but it is not. How can I show you that? Open with this time. Now open with choose another file. Try to open with a notepad and just once. See, now you can see that all the data is comma separated value file. So now you are interested to import this comma separated value file into SAS. Very simple. Go to properties, go to security, copy the path, and same story again. Then you just come back and just I'll try to mention it. So now I'm writing it proc import. I'm just mentioning the path of that. Then followed by I'll mention here. So the path I'll try to mention it. So I'm writing it proc import data file equal to path out equal to test and replace dbm is equal to csv and get names equal to no. Is it get names equal to no required? So I need to check that. Is it my column names are available or not? I think here also my column names are not available. So let's have the get names equal to no, and I can write it. So dbms, I don't need to change anything. It can be dbms equal to it can be a text file or csv file, but dbms is same. It's a comma separated value. We need to tell that to SAS which type of file it is. It is a comma separated value file. I'm just mentioning it here. When I execute it and run it, I'm done. So go to your values. Now you see that var1, var2, var3 is my column names, and all the 12 records containing a data, it's imported. One thing you try to remember here in the Excel files or text files, you will not have a information called sheet statements and all will not work. Okay, we have a sheet equal to statement. Sheets will be possible only in your Excel files, but that sheet statement is not there in the text files or CSV files. Don't expect that to be working. Okay, so the sheet statements will not work. It will throw an error that there is no sheets information available in the dbms equal to tab and all. Dbms equal to csv and all. It will try to throw the message. And not only that, you are interested to import the data from a text file. Okay, this is for csv. Now I'm interested to import the data from the text file. Just imagine I'm writing it here. Then I'll try to mention it here with a text file. I want to do it. So I'll try to see first where the text file is there and located. Let me go for text files. So I have text files. I can open anything, that's fine. See, all this data is just separated with the space. There is no comma, nothing. It's just a space separated file. Now you are interested to import it. This one, go to properties and go to security, and then again copying a path of it. So make sure to copy the path and go to your SAS. Okay, so now you need to write the syntax now. Proc means it's a procedure. Let me scroll up slowly. You will get an idea. Proc import. I'm telling to my SAS data file equal to, you need to mention the path of the file where it is located. You will just mention it and give the semicolon. Out equal to new data set name, can be anything. Test, I'll try to write it. Replace, I'll try to write it for a safer side. And DBMS, or database management system, equal to, as it's a text, so then we'll try to write it as a DLM, because the inside data values of mine, it is not separated with a comma or anything. It is just a space. Space means delimiter. Delimiter means a space separated between two columns. We call it as a delimiter. So the data which we have it right now is a space delimited file. So I'll try to mention the same. So now when I try to import this particular text file into SAS, execute it, I think I'm done. Check your log, successfully imported. 11 observations containing a data created, but I don't need the first row as a column names. Then I can tell to my SAS. I think earlier I have mentioned it. Okay, that is your comma separated value. So now I'll try to mention it here. I don't want it a column names. So get names equal to no. Default it is picking up that. I don't want it. So then when I execute it, I'm run. So now you see that the data imported var1, var2, var3. If all the data with a text file containing a data imported into SAS environment. So not only the text file, you are interested to import the data from a tab file. Just imagine I'm trying to write it the same, but this time it is going to be tab separated file. What is tab separated file means? Let me just show you. If this particular text file you try to open it, so there is a difference. Earlier just a single space from one column to another column, but now this is a multiple columns. If you try to read this as a single space containing a data, SAS won't read like that. So you are interested to read the multiple spaces containing a data you are interested. So we can right click on it and go to properties and go to security and copy the path of that file where it is located. Go to your SAS and you need to make sure to write it the same thing, but this time the file name is going to be text only, but dbms will change to tab, not as a text. It is a tab separated file, we need to write it. So when you execute it, the same data will be imported. So now you can see that the data will be get created with the tab separated format of file. So I imported the data even though the space, if you think that maybe that is also spaces, you try to read as a dlm. Let's see the difference what happened. I think that also like I'm thinking that it's a DLM file when you try to execute it. So check your log. It is successfully created. Check your log also. See, everything will be comes under one column because those are all not a space separated files. Those are all like a tab separated file. Actually, 1234 AA and all, I'm expecting to be created as a different columns, but everything is comes under one column. The reason we here what we have done is the mistake, we try to read that dbms equal to dlm. You need to make sure to write it as a tab, then only it will work. When you execute it and run it, I think you are done. So now you can see that the data imported nicely. And one more, I think we done with all. Tab files and all we done. So this is all about how to do the import. So this is your what we have done. So this is about proc import we have done here. So we have done with all the proc import procedure with the different options. What we have, we are doing it with the different files. We have completed here. Now it's a time for explaining a concept name called export. Okay. So what is export means? Very simple. Let me try heading it. Proc export. I'm trying to write it. So now my interest is, okay, I'm interested to export the data. Okay, so my interest is, imagine I have my SAS help library. There are plenty data sets available. Let me try to take one data set called class right now. Open it. So there this particular data having around 19 records. There we have name variable, sex variable, age variable, height variable, weight variable wise the data is there. So now I want to export this particular text file, export this into a Excel file to the outside. Right now it is in the form of a SAS data set. I want to export this data into Excel file outside to my desktop. It's available right now in the SAS. I want to convert that. How can I do that? Very simple. You need to write a syntax for that. You mention it first. Proc means it's a procedure like earlier what you have done. Same, it's a procedure method we are using to export it. So I'm trying to write it export. You need to mention it proc export data. Instead of data file, you need to write it as a out file. You need to mention the path of the file where you are interested to store that data. I'm interested to store it on my practice is the folder which is already there in my desktop. Let me remove all these things from the desktop. Okay, in this particular folder I want to store it. Make sure to copy the path of that particular folder where you are interested to store that particular file to be stored. I'm just trying to mention it here. I'll try to mention the path. Okay, so then you need to mention with slash. You need to mention the file name. The file name can be anything. You can write it as a ABC is the file name. I'm trying to write it. Which format you are trying to store it? XLS. I'll try to mention it as a abc.xls. Then there we have written out equal to, but this time we try to write it data equal to. We need to tell to the SAS which data set you want to export to outside from SAS help library of your class data set you are interested to export outside, then followed by your DBMS database management system equal to I want it in the form of XLS file only. I'll try to write it. A replace also I'll try to write it. Earlier writing a replace making sense, but what is the purpose of replace? Imagine in that particular my practice folder with the name of abc.xl is already available. I want to override that with this particular option called replace. If that file is already exist with the name of abc.xls, if I'm not writing a replace option, there is no chance of overwriting the existing folder containing a file. So to overwrite forcefully, we try to write an option called replace and try to write a run statement. Before that, we need to mention that this particular data of your class where you are sending, in which sheet you are trying to store that. You need to mention that sheet equal to, as it's an Excel file, so we will have a sheet names also. I'll try to mention my sheet name will be, it can be, I'll try to mention it as a class is the sheet name. I'm trying to keep it. So that's it, I'm done. So if I try to execute it, let me try to run it. I'm done. Check your log. 19 observations containing and 5 variables data, 5 variables plus 19 observations containing a data successfully exported to my desktop on my practice folder with the name of abc.xls file is successfully created. Go there, open here on my practice folder. So here the abc file is created. You try to open it. There you can see that the class is the data and everything is nicely imported, exported from the SAS to outside in the form of Excel. Yeah, I got it. Very nice and clean. So my sheet name also created with the name of class, and that's making sense. Not only that, I'm interested to export another data also within the same Excel file, because right now one particular sheet only occupied. I want to send one more data into the different sheet. Let's take, I have a data set with me with the name of heart, which is there with me. Where is that heart? You just go for it here, heart data set. There we have a plenty records containing a data which is there in my Excel. So now I'm interested to export this one. I can tell to my SAS, make sure to write it SAS help.heart, and you need to mention the path will be the same. You will not change anything in the path, because my interest is store it in the same Excel workbook only. That is that abc.xls is the workbook is same. I'm not changing it. But the only thing what we are trying to do is pick up another data set from that Excel sheet. You need to push into that Excel sheet. Then this time sheet, I'll try to change it. Instead of class, I'll try to mention heart. If I write mentioning it as a class, so that the old sheet data, whatever is already created with the name of class, will be overwritten with new data. But I don't want to overwrite it, create as a new sheet. You try to mention that as a sheet equal to which sheet name you want to write it. So now within the same Excel workbook, you're trying to create another sheet. Check your log and nicely exported. Go there, open your my practice folder. So now you can see this is your backup file. Generally, Windows default, whenever there is a file automatically trying to backup, trying to overwrite it, SAS automatically takes that as a backup file here. You see that BAK file. So default every time you're overwriting, so old file will be get backup, and so that new file will be updated here. You can see that one is with class data, another one is heart data. So now that all the heart containing 5200 records containing a data nicely exported outside, yeah, that is working nice. So there is no problem. But the problem is here, you just see some cases in this particular heart data set, we have a column name called MRW. MRW means what it is, metropolitan relative weight as a label. Actually, MRW is my column name, but metropolitan relative weight is a label. What is the difference between column name and label? According to the naming conventions, the column name should be, it can be below 32 character. You can't have spaces in the middle. It can be uppercase, lowercase, not a problem. But all those rules will be applicable for my column name. But my label is already there as a metropolitan relative weight. So when you are looking into this particular data, what it is exported, so there also you will get it, your column name as a MRW only. You just see MRW. So I don't have anything called double click to see the label and all. So instead of exporting my column names, I'm exporting my column labels to be as of my column names in my Excel. Excel, I don't have any issue with it. If you have a space in the middle of my column value, so that's not making any sense, or it's not screen. So in that case, how I can able to export my column labels instead of column names? Then I can tell to my SAS while exporting itself, instead of you keeping that as a column name, you try to mention as a label. You try to mention it LABEL label. so that the labels will be get exported now. When you execute it now, I think I'm done. Check your log. Any issues? No issues. Go to your log and here and go to your output. Check this time, is it MRW created or metropolitan relative weight? See, now I got it. Instead of MRW, I got a metropolitan relative weight as a column name. If I want it, I can get it that. Even labels also, you're interested to export it, we can do that the same way. So this is the way of exporting it, and that too. And here I don't want to export all the columns. I'm interested to export of only certain columns only. What is that? You keep equal to what columns you want to export it. You mention it. Auto data set, you open it. I need a status variable to be exported. Okay, then I'll try to mention that one. So okay, status variable is required, then followed by death cause variable is required for my analysis. So I'll try to do that. Even just keeping that, and as well as one more is MRW variable. Only 3 variables only required for me to export it. I don't need the rest all. Yeah, you can do that when you exporting it. I think we just fixed it. Check your log. Only 3 columns containing a data only exported, plus 5,000 records containing a data exported. Go there and open it here on your my practice folder. Will have the data of only the 3 columns containing a data is exported. Make sure to close it this one before you run it. Let me rerun the program again. So let me just run it. Let me push. I keep only the 3 variables. Let me go there and go to your ABC column. Now you can see hot data will have only the 3 columns. You see that? I wanted status, death cause, and as well as metropolitan relative weight. Earlier it didn't work because by the time my Excel is in open condition, that's the reason why when I'm pushing the data, that effect has not taken. But right now I close the SAS, I close the Excel, and I try to rerun it so that it's nicely integrated that. So this is the way of exporting the data in the form of Excel file we can do. Not only that, I want to create a one more file with the same here as XLSX. I can do that also. DBMS equal to, you mention it as XLSX. I can export it. Now there will be a separate workbook created with the name of XLSX. You can see here. So this is your XLSX. Right click on it, go to properties, and there you can see that it's an XLSX format of the file. It is created. So you just open it, and there you can see all our XLSX file containing a data exported. If you want it, yeah, you can do that. So not only that, you are interested to export of what I can do is I can export the data in the form of okay. So now I'm interested, take the same example. I'm interested to export the data in the form of a text file. Then write it ABC as a Excel file, right? Instead of X, I want Excel is, I want to write it as a TXT. I'll try to mention it. So same, everything is same. I'll not change anything. DBMS equal to DLM. I'll try to write it. But rest all those things will be the same. I don't need to change anything. But I don't have a sheet information here. So you remove it. That's it. So now I want to export the data in the abc.text format. Execute it now. I think you are done. Check it, successfully created. Go to your desktop of new folder. So which you have created a text file we are expecting. Yeah, this is my text file. The same data exported in the form of a text file. Yeah, I'm getting it right now. So that is working it here. So this is my different variables. I'm getting it right now. I'll try to do one small data set so that it's easy, because when it's a large quantity of the data sets, it's making not sense. I'll try removing this one. Done. Check your log. Log we don't need to check as it's already running. Go to my ABC. See, my data exported in the form of a text file. If you want it, yeah, I got it. The text file format of your data. You can do that also. That's fine. And apart from that, you are exported in the same data in the form of a CSV. Try to mention the same DBMS equal to, you need to mention CSV, but remaining things as it is, don't need to change anything. Run it so that the same data will be exported in the form of a CSV file here. Go there, the total data of ABC. All the data is just a comma separated value file. You are going to get it. But instead of that, I'm interested to have my file itself as a CSV. Then I can tell to my SAS by just mentioning it here. So then instead of TXT, I'll try to write as a CSV, and even this one also CSV, so that you will get it the same output in the form of a CSV file. Now you can just see this is your CSV file created. You try to open it. See, this is your CSV file containing a data. Looks like an Excel, as I said earlier. Right click on it, open with it. There you can see that. Open with Notepad. All are comma separated values only. You can get it in this one. Yeah, I can get it as a comma separated. Not only that, I'm interested to export the same file in the form of a tab. Then I can mention it as a txt. Then you need to write it CSV instead of dbms equal to CSV. You need to mention as a tab. So that same thing I can do here. When I execute it, I'm done. And one thing you need to understand, it is a procedure method like our proc printer, but it is not printing it because proc import or proc export doesn't have any printing capability. It can import data and export the data, but it won't print anything in the output window at all. You're really interested to print it, you need to write a proc print step again. You can write it, but default, it won't print anything. It can be import or it can be export. So there is no printing capability at all. So now you are interested to export this data, go there, and now you are trying to create that. You try to open it. So I wanted the data with the tab spaces containing a data to be exported. Yeah, I got it. So this is the way of importing the data and as well as exporting the data we have done in SAS. Any questions from anyone? As of now, importing and exporting of Excel files, text files, CSV files, tab files, I covered all. Any question from anyone? Is this clear?
Yeah, I have a question. Okay, so when you did the XLS file, you put the replace after the DBM.
That's okay. That's what I'm saying. Even the
right?
replace
And then when
option,
you did
the replace option, I can write it here also. It's not a problem. The reason
yes.
is until the semicolon, it's all comes under one
Okay,
statement
okay.
until here. Okay, I can write it. Some of the statements, if you
Okay.
see in the internet example, they will write it first. Out equal to statement, they'll try to write it first instead of that, instead of out file equal to. Understand? That's your convenient, man. So there
Okay,
is no
yeah.
problem about swapping your positions, because if you swap your positions inside, it's not a problem at all until this.
Okay, got it.
Sir, having one question.
Yeah.
So every time we will receive that readable file only, like if we receive sometimes non-readable files, like that file consists of images or like that, so we are unable to export that data or import the data.
So that
Export
we
that
need to
data.
use a different input methods. In my input methods class, I will talk about it. When you have a file, generally as a programmer, we always get the data in the form of text only, always, not no images. Okay. So we never ever get the data in real time because the database itself, it won't store in the form of images. Understand? Got it? So we are working on an environment where we have it all the data in Excel, means all our text files are text containing a data only. We try to get it, not images. So it's easy always to import it. But where the question is, then you need to ask the question in another way around. Imagine if columns are not in a consistency manner. One column is very bigger one and another column is very smaller one. How we can able to handle it? That I will explain in upcoming classes to you.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Right. So, and one more thing is left, how to import the data from multiple sheets. Let me try taking the program from SAS 91 AM. Go to SAS tutorial day 3. So what is this? So now imagine I have an Excel workbook with me. Where is that? New Microsoft Excel worksheet.xls X file is there. Where it is available? On my desktop. Just imagine. XLS X. This is 97 2000. This is XLS X workbook. Do you have multiple sheets here? Only one sheet is there. Let me create another sheet, and I'll try to copy this data. I'll make sure to write it another sheet name here. Okay, let it be this one. But That's okay. I'm trying to create my sheet name as a ABC. Or else I'll do one thing. Why I need to create all this? Go to my desktop folder, data folder. Go to the data folder. So there we have my data. XLSX file is there. My data one. There we have a multiple sheets. Naidu sheet, UU sheet, class sheet, hot sheet, core sheet, by sheet, air sheet, like that. There are multiple sheets containing a data which is there. What I can do is I want to import all these things in a single go. I'll try to take a path of that Excel file where it is located. Then I'll come to my SAS. Then I'll mention it. Instead of writing a proc import, I'll try to mention a library name. What is this library name means? Generally, libraries we try to give a folder path. But in this particular case, library name, we directly give a XLS path. So now XLSX path, I think we successfully created. See, the library is there with me. Go to your library's location. There you can see that all the data is imported nicely. But here it is not giving the inside values. We can do one thing. It will read, but the problem is So now let's see what happens, So I try to import all the data into here. So that's what I have done. So now what I can do is, imagine if I copy any one file from here, copy, then paste it in work. Will it work or not? We'll try to see. Paste it. Yeah, air data, when you try to open it, yes, I have a data. So what happens, I want to import multiple sheets containing a data in a single go. I can do lib name. After that, your library name. You need to mention your path of that particular. You need to mention the engine. This library name is XLSX engine. We need to write it because so we need to tell that it's an XLS file. So as default, it can be read only for folders for library, but it is all my Excel S workbook having a multiple sheets, right? You just see here in LL dataset when you try to open it. So there all the sheets, whatever is there in that particular sheet, I want to import all the sheets in a single go. I can just go with this one. When I try to open it, it will throw this message that you can't open something like this. To avoid it, what you can do is you can write a small statement saying it as a proc copy in equal to, you try to pick up from LL, out equal to, you paste it all in work library, okay, semicolon, and run. So that what happened, all the data will be copied it from my LL, pasting into my work library. That's it, I'm done. I think all my data copied. You see that every data is copied from my LL and pasted into my work library. You go there and see all my sheets, data sets I can open like this. See, every sheet of mine is imported nicely without what I can say that without I'm running any program or anything. Multiple sheets I can import it in a single go by just using this particular statement. Yeah, it will work. This is the way of doing it. You need to mention lib name. After that, your library name. You need to mention the path of that lib. You need to mention the engine name. So this is my XLSX. We have multiple sheets in it. So this is the way of importing multiple sheets. Okay, so importing multiple sheets. So I'm just using a proc copy. Now do imagine I don't want to copy all the data into my new data set. Let me kill everything which is there in the work. Then I can tell that either I can select it, I can delete it manually like this. I can click on delete. So instead of that, I'll try to write a program to clean my work library also. What I will do is proc data sets kill semicolon and run. This will allow me to kill everything in the work library first. Yeah, everything is wiped off. Now I'm interested to copy all the data from my LL library to my work library. I'm trying to copy, execute it. I think I have copied all the required variables. But now the question is, Naidu, I don't want it all. I need only air data to be copied. I don't want all the data. Then you can use an option called SELECT, select of just only air is enough for you to copy Then when you execute it, let me just proc dataset skill again, you write it. Let me wipe off everything. I want it only air to be copied. Just see this one. Select but air data ll dot air, I need to write it. So in equal to this one. Okay, let me try writing it. It is available with ll.air. No, this is not the way. There is a problem with this one. So because so here what happens, there are non-printable special characters is really causing this to copy. Okay, you're interested only one thing. Go to your dataset name, your dataset name, KK, or maybe any dataset name. Let's say test semicolon set is the concept, we can use it. Then in LL library with the name of air data, which is there with me, then run it so that only that particular data only to be copied. Then I can copy now. See, now test data set created from that particular air data. Yeah, I can do that if you want it. So this is the way of importing multiple sheets in one go. Instead of that, imagine I'll try to write another concept saying it as a how to export multiple sheets. What does that mean? How I can do that? So imagine I have a empty Excel workbook on my desktop at somewhere. Let me try creating it in this particular practice folder on my desktop. My practice is there. I'll try to create an empty file of Excel workbook. I'll try to create a Excel workbook. I'm trying to mention it. I'll try to mention that sheet name can be anything. XYZ as the sheet name. I'll try to mention it. That's okay. So now right now, if you try to open it, all the sheets are blank. Nothing is there. I want to push multiple data sets into this sheet. So that's what my goal is. Go to my security and copy the path. I'll try to mention this path of the XLS X. Then go to your SAS. Now my interest is very simple. Lib name. After that, your library name can be anything. PP is my library name. I think PP seems to be already available at somewhere. Go to test PT is no library name. Then XLSX, you need to mention it in a quotations. You need to mention the location of that particular this one. Now my interest is to copy all my so to copy all my data sets from SAS help to, I want to just paste it here. Then I can do one thing. Proc means it's a procedure. Copy, I'm writing it in equal to, this time I'm trying to take it from the SAS help library and pasting out equal to my new library is TT. I'm just trying to write it and run. So generally, if I do that, it will take time to select or maybe to copy all my SAS data sets of my SAS help into this particular Excel. I'll try to select only few. SELECT, select of only a class data set to be copied, then hot data set to be copied, then air data set to be copied. Only this data set only I'm interested to copy. That's what my interest is. Let me just try to run it and execute it. I'm done. So check your log. Nicely created. Some of the lengths as extending 32 characters may not support in the XLS and all. That's okay for time being. So let's see, because you don't know anything about the lengths and all. That's the reason why. Go to your my practice, open your XYZ folder, XYZ file, and yes, you try to open it. You see that right now. So class sheet imported, exported, hot sheet exported, air sheet also exported without writing import export. So this is the way of doing and importing multiple sheets into SAS. By just using this particular method, we can just use it. Okay, apart from that, there is other method also to import and export in SAS. What you can do is, imagine without writing any single line of code, what I can tell to my SAS is, I can tell to my SAS, go to file, click on import data, then which file you are interested to import it. There are n number of files are there with me. Let me just import a CSV file, click next. Then it will ask me to browse where that CSV file is located. I have a folder on my desktop as a data. So I have many CSV files with me. Let me try to import my file. My file is the CSV file which is there with me. Click next. Then it will ask me where you are interested to save it. I want to save it in SAS user. You can mention that. Even that is also mentioned with your dataset name as a KK. Then click next. Browse. It is asking me to browse it. SAS is automatically writing some program for me. I'll try to keep that particular program in the practice folder so that it's for you, for your reference. My practice. There I'll try to mention this program name as a IMP program. That means importing something. I'm trying to write it as a program name and finish. So go to your log first, check that. What is that? SAS user.kk is successfully imported. SAS user library with the name of KK, it is successfully imported. See that all the sheet containing a data nicely imported, but I haven't done any program for that. SAS is automatically doing it. This is called DDE, data dynamic data exchange. We call it as a, without writing a program also we can do that, but we never ever do it in real time, because whenever we write something as a programmer, the code should be available, because in behalf of your absence or maybe behalf of you, someone else is taking care of your job, the code or the program need to speak. So make sure always try to write a programs only we try to do in real time. This is called the manual method. So we never ever do in real time, but still in certain circumstances you don't have a time of writing a code and all, we can quickly import it like this. Apart from that, the one more advantage with this one is you can able to bring the code of whatever is SAS writing, right? Something I have saved to my SAS practice folder, right? Go to your my practice folder. I have written an import program. SAS automatically writing a code for you in your backend. You try to open this. Oh, my SAS is got closed. Let me just try to open my SAS again. What it is doing is, you can able to get a, let me just merge. Okay, let me go to open program, go to desktop, and my practice is the folder. IMP folder is here. See, this is the code is automatically writing for me in the backend. Proc import out equal to SAS user.kk, data file equal to path of that file, dbms equal to csv, replace get names equal to yes, data row equal to 2. Because SAS automatically taking from the second row only, but you want it to tell that to SAS, try to take it from the second row. I don't have any column or something like that. We can mention without mentioning. Also, if you have column names, by default, it will try to read it from the second row only by default. So this is the program automatically writing in the backend with all these actions, what you have performed. Click on import data and all. The same way we can do export also. Go to file, click on export data, then which data you want to export it. In my SAS help, there are plenty of files are available. Which data to be exported? There are plenty here. I want to export the class data set, and then click on the next. Then it will ask me which format of the file you are expecting. Let's say I'm interested to tab separated file format. Click next. Then browse. It is asking me the location where you are interested to save that. I'm interested to save it in my practice and give my file name can be anything called JJ is the file name I'm trying to write it. Click OK. Click next. It is asking me to browse again. This time it is asking me to save that program. So the program of mine is I'll try to save it. This is the export program I'm trying to write it. So this is EXP. I'm saving it to my desktop and click finish. That's it. So now successfully we exported the data. You can see that in my practice folder. My practice folder here. So there you can just see that JJ is the file nicely exported. You can see that the data, whatever is there in the text, that particular text file, it's exported without writing a code, but automatically SAS writing a code in behalf of that. You just go there and open it. Open this one. The code is written by the SAS in the backend if you want it. So import and export, we can use it with this particular method, or you can write your own method, or you can use a import of export of your libname statement. Also, we can able to do it. All these methods, we use it to importing of your external files into SAS environment, exporting of your data from SAS to outside, we can easily do with it. Clear? Any questions from anyone?